comes from @ThunderVan, who said, if you had to design a starting five that averaged 70 points per game or less, who would yours be? And we actually interpreted this very differently. My initial interpretation was I'm looking at what players averaged this season and trying to build the best starting lineup that I can with players who combined averaged 70 or fewer points per game. I think you were looking at it as let's build the best lineup we can that wouldn't score more than 70 points per game.
100%.
So I just kind of cobbled this together in the few minutes before we started recording because the question came in kind of late. And I'm just going to basically not have any great shooting on this team aside from one 3-and-D guy and Steph Curry, who helps make up for a lot of shooting woes. But I'm going with Steph Curry, Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, and Devin Vassell, who together average exactly 70 points per game. The idea of having Simmons and Thybulle defending the perimeter with Gobert behind them means that Steph can basically sit down on the defensive end and not need to do anything because Thybulle is basically capable of apparating all over the court. So you wouldn't really be playing 4-on-5 on defense. And then Steph can just shoot every time down the floor and average 50 points a game. And we're going to win a bunch of games. I also thought about swapping out Simmons for Robert Covington, just to get another 3-and-D body into that lineup and get a little bit more shooting. But I just kind of like the idea of totally committing to defense with the one good spacer in Vassell, the great roll threat in Gobert, a cutting threat and secondary creator in Simmons, and Steph just shooting flames.
Yeah, my issue there is that Steph probably averages 70 a game by himself on that team.
By my interpretation of the question, though, that is fair game.
So my team would be Giannis, Ben Simmons, Rudy Gobert, Bam Adebayo, and OG Anunoby. Super light on floor spacing in that. I'm going super big. I know that they could probably do stuff in transition. Who is the on-ball? Like, if you're looking at Giannis and Ben Simmons having to create together in the half court, it's going to get super iffy. So that team is probably allowing 40 points a game. Are they scoring 80? I mean, it's the modern day NBA.
I think they're scoring over 80 a game.
There's one guy who will shoot threes or make threes because Giannis will shoot them. That's OG Anunoby.
Right, but you're just going to overpower everyone. Also, Giannis will shoot threes. Should he?
Will. I didn't say he wouldn't make them.
Okay, fair. Important clarification.
There'll be one guy on that team making threes. So that's how I interpreted it. I didn't go as exact. I thought about even like, I didn't want to, because there's good passers on that team when you look at Bam and Ben and Giannis. I tried to like lower those, but then I was like, if I put Mikal Bridges on that team, like he's got some kind of creation. So we're looking at like those specialty wings. Maybe if you went with like put Thybulle instead of Ben Simmons on that team or instead of Giannis, like that would be the safer way to ensure that you average 70 points a game. But that's my team.
John says headhunting a weak defender, and I am pretty sure this is in response to my team. Headhunting a weak defender in the NBA is on a completely different level now, and we saw that in the 2018 Rockets series when they hunted Curry. Yeah, absolutely. 100% true. It's way easier now just given the proliferation of three-point shooting and the ability to get switches basically whenever you want them to target that one poor defender. But this team is specifically designed for that not to be a concern because Simmons and Thybulle are just so ridiculously rangy. I mean, we've heard Doc Rivers say multiple times that Thybulle in particular, he just breaks all of the defensive rules because he can. He doesn't have to worry about following them because he can just show up as if he's just teleported to a different area of the court. So I do think that despite that 100% being true, that specific team construction, given these parameters, would still be able to account for that enough.